And I would like to invite Elaine McKenzie to join me here. Hi, Elaine.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
Awesome. You and I go quite a long way back, don't we?
Yes, yes. Glass bar, pouts.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Dancing. Dances. Yeah.
We did a bit of that too. Would you like to say something about yourself to introduce you to the audience, to those who might not?
Okay, my name is Elaine McKenzie. I used to run the Glass Bar many years ago. It started in 1985 and closed in 2008. I also ran a venue called Southopia in Kennington. I've run lots of other events like Pout, wine dating, that was good. Learned to wine taste and date at the same time. Great combination, I'd recommend it to you all. I create any excuse to meet other women because it's not easy. Any excuse I can come up with for you to get together and meet. And it's not in terms of meeting it for, well, some do meet for sex, but, you know, to make friends, to create your own personal support base that was going to be with you as you go through life. So you have friends for a very, very, very long time. Yeah.
Excellent. So as an event organizer, what sort of experience have you had with hate crime?
Quite a bit. It's quite interesting how it manifests. For example, you have a women-only space. Men feel entitled to be part of that space, and we're not talking about hiring a place and you've got a few male employees, passerbys who want to join your club or sit in a space that you've hired out. There is always that tension. How dare you take over that space, call it your own, and I don't have access to it. Who the hell are you? So you get a lot of sort of attitude. At the Glass Bar, wow, the amount of men that tried to get in. I had one guy who he came up to the door and he said, I'm a member. I said, that's interesting. And very much women only. He said, yes, I know the owner. I said, that's interesting too. Frank? I went, no. Mark? No. Bob? No. Georgina? I went, close. But still no. So those are not too bad, but it's the ones that almost try to force their way in, and you have to physically eject them. One guy told me to remove, I used to wear a hat, told me to remove my hat so that he could hit me. I have no idea how removing my hat is going to give him a better aim, but... And eventually, the rest of my customers came to my rescue to get rid of him. But yeah, you do get men who feel that they have a right, and you're excluding them from that space, and you have no right to do that. And that's the sort of hate you get. And then on top of that, you get hate because it's a female space. You get hate because it's full of lesbians, so they can't. They can't go in and chat anybody up. They could try, they won't get far. But it was that sort of disgust, like you were some dirt at the bottom of their shoe. So having to deal with that, at Southopia they would throw things through the window. At one stage we had, one of our neighbours had an air gun and would fire at the customers as they passed. Any female, even if she had no intention of going into Southopia, he would fire. And when it's like that, you have to get the police involved. You have to get the police involved. The property was living in a council house, so had to get the council involved. Knew his school, had to get the school involved, and eventually, because we got so many people involved, the family moved out of London. So that was good.
Yeah.
But that was a lot of hard work. And if you're running a business, you really don't need the aggravation.
How much support was available to you as a business owner?
We were quite lucky in Kennington because they had this LGBT police operation, community police, and they would operate between Kennington and Vauxhall. So I think mainly because of Vauxhall and the number at the time of different bars and clubs in that area, then it went all the way through Southwark and Lambeth. So we were quite lucky. We had a lot of sport there. And we were a beautiful bar, and they used to bring the top police officers and inspectors round, just basically saying, look what we've got in our neighbourhood. So we were lucky. We had a lot of support. There were a few police officers who just, I can remember watching this woman. She came in just introducing herself and, hi, my name, I think her name was Jane. And she was watching two girls kiss. And you could see on her face, like, why? Why would you do that? It's like, wow, and you're meant to be helping me.
Just for context, remember roughly when was that?
This was in like 2006.
So we're talking...
So it was sometime, but do you know what? I don't think things have changed that much. So I currently work for TfL, and I work with, we have BTP police and the Met, particularly where I work, you have the Met police. And on the surface, like every single large organisation, be they corporate or government or non-LGBT charity, when they reach a certain size, on the surface, they can have the relevant speak that makes you sound that you're welcome and valued. But in reality, when you get the individuals and you talk to the individuals, it's a different story altogether. It's seriously, there's woefully little understanding or acceptance. It's very superficial. So that's my experience. I might be hypercritical, but I really don't think so. I think we should be so far ahead in 2021.
So in terms of change, it's 2021 now. How much do you think has changed?
Well, at least there is discussion. At least there is a recognition. At least there's an acceptance, not necessarily a complete understanding, but acceptance that we're here and we're visible. And you look a bit of an idiot if you have a problem with the LGBT, the LGBTQ community, but on a deeper level, and it really goes deep. Sometimes you have to think to yourself, if I was on a train or if I was walking down a road and I was being attacked, who would come to my aid? I remember being on a train with another female. We both looked like butch. We were both butch dykes. You couldn't miss lesbian 1, lesbian 2. That's it. So this man got on the train. He said, he was a bit pissed. So he said, "Are you lesbians?" And I thought, well. I said, "Yes." And he went, "Dirty bitches." And I didn't respond. I didn't respond initially. And there was another bloke sat 3 seats down, and you could see he was uncomfortable. He was very uncomfortable. And you could almost see what was going through his mind. Do I step in or don't I? No, I don't want to step in. I don't want to step in. He looks scary. And then this guy kept on calling us names and talking about the various sexual positions that lesbians ought to, in his fantasy world, find themselves in. And I lost it. I told him what he can do with himself, and yeah, I was quite brutal. And he eventually shut up, and left us alone. But you kind of have to constantly be on your guard, you know. And I think I'm lucky because not many people mess with me. I have no idea. I'm really sweet and gentle. Well, yeah, a lot. But then, you know, you look at your partners and you look at your friends, and they get a lot of trouble, particularly women who are femme-looking and quite soft-looking, and or just petite. It's that horrible sense of vulnerability, and we have to look out for each other. We have to protect each other. We have to find ways of educating our sons, our brothers, our fathers, our uncles, our male colleagues. We have to have that difficult and intense conversations with these individuals. As I say, I work in TfL, I work in London Underground. That is so male. I've gone from working in a place where it was women only to working in a place where it's wall-to-wall men, and very old-fashioned men with really outdated values and outdated outlook on life, and, you know, saying silly things like, if I had a daughter, I would never allow her to wear a short skirt. It's like, oh, yeah, dream on. Yeah, just stupid things like that. And then having to have that conversation with them. You know, what do you mean by that? Why do you think somebody's attire is going to necessarily attract a rapist? Just those difficult, they have to be had every day, to the point that when they see you, they just roll their eyes like, oh, please. You know, it doesn't matter, because if you don't drill it down into them, that they are responsible for violence against women. They are responsible for a hate crime against gays, against lesbians, against bis, against trans. They won't get it because they feel that they're entitled to impose their values on you. And it's that sense of entitlement, that's what fuels misogyny.
And to close and to bring it back a little bit to the events organizer or bar owner, how do you think that experience might have changed today? What challenges do you think have changed or are different?
It's quite interesting, because it's hard to be a bar owner, and you know you're having to deal with just your everyday concerns, and then having to deal with hate crime and misogyny. If you have a good community police system in place, then your life is a lot easier and people respond a lot quicker. But if you're in a situation where you're running events and you're using other people's bars, that's when it becomes a little bit tricky, because you're bringing a group of people into a space that's not yours, and therefore you have to abide by that person's rules. You are not the primary customer. So if their primary customers are a bunch of hillbilly redneck men and some women, then you've got trouble, you've got a problem, you've got an issue. How do you change them so that we can live in this very complex but often beautiful world without feeling threatened, feeling safe, feeling that I don't have to talk to him and be nice, because if I'm not, he's going to slap me. So, yeah, if you've got the right community policing in place, you are a lot safer.
All right. Thank you very much, Elaine.
Thank you.